record the and that means too that our webinar chat is open. And so we really encourage people to use that today as well. But we'd like to welcome you to our webinar. To start, when you come in, there is a bit.ly that you can go to, and maybe Heather and Bree, you can put that in the chat too for people who are coming in, because we're going to get off of this slide and start the slides of our webinar. But if you didn't hear, the person who clicks on the final pixel wins a sticker poster kit. So that is so exciting. And I'm sitting here watching on my phone. I know it's kind of tricky to see, but if you haven't seen it, it's just so fun. And we are really doing good. Almost the surprise image is going to be revealed. And so as you come in, you can work on that too. But one thing that we're so excited about, and this is what you are putting together, and you're almost finished, I think there's like 2,000 stickers left, is the newest sticker poster kit. And I actually have it right here. I'm really excited about this, especially because this is the top of my blog, The Library Voice. This artwork is by Susan Reagan. She is an illustrator. She used to be actually a greeting card designer, and she worked for companies like Hallmark and American Greetings, and now she is an illustrator. And so as you put this together, you will see that the virtual one today is the same as the new sticker poster kit. And this is one too that actually has a message in it. And so it has a secret message that says, "Happy reading, the library voice." And so when you have a poster like this, make sure that you do that before your kids start working on it, because that can be, as they come to work on it, that can be like a little secret message that you give them within the poster. And it will say on posters that have it, just right in the corner, it will say a bonus, a secret message coded into the poster. And so that's really fun to have those in there. So I know that Bree is watching the poster and she'll see who the winner is. I'm sure you'll announce it too, right?
Yes, I will. In the chat, just so people know, the chat is still disabled for some reason. So I'm trying to fix that right now.
Yeah, they can probably use the question, huh? The question and answer.
Yes.
So if you have any questions or answers, you'll be able to use that too. Now, Bree, do you want to go over how they can win? 3 lucky people are going to also win this today. And so I'll let Bree go over that part.
Yeah. So we're going to do a social media giveaway on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And we're asking you to share your Stick Together stories with us. And we're going to do it for School Library Month. So we're doing it for the next 3 weeks, and we're going to have 3 winners. So to enter, you need to follow Shannon. You need to follow Stick Together, and you need to share a post with your Stick Together story and like a photo or a video. And be sure to tag us, and then you'll be entered into our giveaway. And then if you tag a friend in the comments of our original post that will be going out after this webinar, then you will have an additional entry.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. It's so fun because it's almost done. I think there's like 60 stickers left. And so that is just been so fun to watch that too. But we're so happy, and we would love to welcome you to our webinar today. This is our April Stick Together webinar, and this one is called Creating Curricular Connections with Stick Together and Other Digital Resources. I also couldn't be more excited today to not only be on the webinar myself, but to be on with 2 of my favorite people. Brianna Cua, she will introduce herself in a minute, is actually my daughter, and Heather Fox is my sister. And so I'm really excited to be on with the 2 of them today too. But my name is Shannon. I am a teacher librarian at Van Meter, Iowa, and I also work with Future Ready Librarians as the Future Ready Librarian spokesperson. I'm also really lucky because I get to work as the advocate for libraries and education for Stick Together. So I'm really excited to be on with all of you today.
Hi, I'm Brianna Cua. I am the owner of Engaged Media Solutions, and I'm the director of digital marketing and brand communications for StickTogether.
And I am Heather Fox, and I am a teacher librarian in Amana, Iowa. And our building is a preschool through fifth grade building. But our library is also our community library. So I'm also the director of the community library as well.
All busy. Thank you. So we just wanted to give everybody a chance. This is going to be kind of hard because the chat is off, but that's okay because we'll have a chance to get to know each other about where you're from and what you do within your school community as well. You also could use, we do this for a lot of our webinars for Future Ready. If you are on Twitter today, you could even use Twitter or even Instagram and tell that you are joining us also for the webinar today. We have a few friendly reminders. Our webinar is going to be about 30 minutes, then we're going to have time for question and answers. We also will be sending out a recording of the webinar, and so that will be something that you can go back to, and also the slides, because everything will be linked in the slides that we share. And please feel free to ask questions. Use the question and answer, because we're going to have lots of time for that as well. And Bree, would you like to talk about this just a little bit, the Stick Together giveaway?
Of course. So we have another giveaway that's just for this webinar. So one lucky attendee who posts a screenshot from this webinar using the hashtag Let's Stick Together by today at 11:59 p.m. CT will win a sticker poster kit.
Yay, thank you. So as teachers and librarians, we all dream up ways to create curricular connections to engage all students and enhance their learning experiences. Through creative and meaningful lessons, projects, and experiences, we can bring learning to life in new and exciting ways. And this is something that I have found with Stick Together as we started using it now several years ago, that their products provide our students and our teachers with ways to collaborate, learn, and create using Stick Together in so many ways, using no tech, low tech, and technology. And that is one of the best parts. I love it that we can use the sticker poster kits, that we can use the pixel art now, which I'm so excited to share, and also the virtual sticker boards that we all just took part in as we put together the surprise one in the beginning. And so today we're going to share just how to create these curricular connections using Stick Together along with digital tools and resources. One thing that is on the Stick Together site, and we worked on these last year, were these guides that show lots of ways how to tie it into the different parts of our curriculum. And so if it's in the library, if it's in the art room, if it's collaborating with your teachers using social studies or science, there are ways to use these things in all of these different subjects. So when we are thinking too about, these ideas, one thing that we thought would be fun today is for you also to brainstorm as we go, because we want to hear your ideas as well. But Heather and I will be sharing how we use this within our schools, and we both work with preschool. I work with preschool to 12th grade, and Heather works with preschool to 4th grade, right, Heather?
Yes.
5th grade. And so you'll hear lots of stories about how we use it within our building. So I'm going to go ahead and let Heather share this amazing project that they just did.
Okay, so as Shannon said, one of the most awesome parts of Stick Together is just how versatile it is and how you can tailor it to the needs of your students. So these are first graders, and we are just finishing up an animal research project. And I knew that I wanted to use Stick Together to create the animals. So we started with our research and used PebbleGo, which is amazing. So you can see she has her little article, and then they filled in their information that they were looking for. And then they had the opportunity to draw their animal. So I love it because they all have the opportunity to do it however they want. We talked a little bit about spatial, like how are you going to get your animal to fit on the page? So I gave them a piece of graph paper, it's actually off the Stick Together pixel art site, and just talk to them about if you wanted to do the face or just the whole body, or how are you going to do this? How are you going to fit this on this piece of paper? So I had them draw a picture first, and then I was planning to have them all do pixel art, but we kind of got into a time crunch. So they all had their picture, and I gave them the choice of using the pixel art website, so using technology, or just doing it without technology and just going for it, just using their picture and then actually putting the stickers on. Some of them wanted to use the pixel art website, which was amazing. And some of them just chose, they just wanted to do it, like take that risk. It's kind of interesting because some kids were a little nervous to try, but I feel like it's such a fun thing because I said, even if you make a mistake, you can cover up the sticker, like you can't mess it up. So it was fun to see them choose the different ways that they wanted to do this project. So once we got our animals done, once they were created, I decided to use a website called Animated Drawings, and Shannon has used that in other projects that she's done. And it's super fun and it's free. And I just love it because the kids are so excited about it when they get to see it. So basically you just take a photo of what you want to animate, then you upload it, and then it has to have joints. And then with this tool, with this web tool, you can animate different pictures. So this is just the beginning, the little short clip of the slideshow of some of the animals that they created. So the animals are shown, the kids are holding them. So this little girl made a peacock. And then this little girl, she wanted to do a German Shepherd, and it was a police dog. And then this little boy did a sloth. And so it was just so funny. And they were so excited to see their animals actually moving. So we've just had a ton of fun using it, and just also kind of like Shannon said at the beginning, there's so many possibilities. There's not one way. So that's what I really love about it. Kids can choose how they want to use it. And so it's just a very engaging and fun way to do a research project.
I love that one, Heather. It's so funny. I just can't even wait to share it with my teachers. And it has music. Heather put that little video together actually using Canva. And it's really neat now in Canva, which is free for all of us as educators, because you can now make a video, and even like the background you can take out of your video. So if you have a video in there of that, from that animated tool, you just take the background out, and then she added those backgrounds in Canva and some music too. So it was kind of wonky, so we didn't play the music. We practiced before, but I love that one. And one that we did with Stick Together in science is we did this around a community garden last year. And this is one of my favorite projects that we have used the pixel art for, because our teachers came to me and they wanted to do something just to kind of wrap up what they were learning about plants and flowers. And so putting together that choice board and then using this book, Miguel's Community Garden, the kids all chose either a flower or a vegetable, something that they wanted to create for the community garden, drew it, and then designed it in the pixel art tool from Stick Together. And as they get it done, if you've never seen this before, they would create their pixel art, and then you just click on generate a PDF. I have them put them onto a Padlet, and I'll show you that in a little bit on how that would work. And then you print those off, and the kids can use then the stickers to sticker their own little posters, just like Heather's kids did of the animals that they researched. And so as you are having the kids, we use Chromebooks at Van Meter, as they are creating their pixel art, just have them download that PDF onto their Chromebook. I start a Padlet, which is really easy for the kids to use. And then they just upload then that file to the Padlet. And so it makes it easy because they're all in one spot, and then you can print them off. And so as you print them off and they sticker them, they are so unique, and the kids love doing this because everybody can do their own. And so that is a really, really fun science project to do. Now we get to math. And as you can see, just from the flyer too that we have in here, and these are guides, like I said earlier, that you can just print off from the StickTogether site. There are lots of different ways that you can use it in math. And one thing that I love, and this again is using, like Heather and I use the pixel art, is I just make a copy of the graph, just how it looks on the pixel art site from StickTogether. And these are our first graders. When we first did this with them, we printed it off and we gave it to the kids because the teachers really wanted to be able to give them a place that they could practice before they actually went to the site. And so they were counting, they were using that to discuss like the graph. And so a really good conversation came up too, just around math as they were making their little self-portraits. And so as they were working as well, one thing that we noticed is they talked a lot about patterns. And so the kids were naturally, within their graph, even making patterns. And so a lot of different things that we can talk about when it comes to math. And as you can see from these, it really helped the kids, especially our youngest learners, as they first started using this tool, and they were able then to use that as a guide to make their self-portrait. Another thing that I wanted to share is we have the Chromebooks too that they can use too, just as a touch screen. And so when you're using the pixel art or even the sticker posters, the virtual ones, you can have them use a device too. Like I could have done it on my phone. They could do it on an iPad. And so it's really nice too, because it's very versatile in how you're using it. Social studies, one of my favorite topics and thing I think that we as librarians and teachers love to work on social studies topics and projects, and also just to collaborate and bring things that are really unique around social studies into our classrooms and libraries. And one thing that I did last year was I put together some choice boards that paired up with some of the sticker posters from StickTogether. So one of them, we do the United States and geography in third grade. And so our third grade teachers had this one in their classrooms that was just a US map, but then pairing it up with this choice board. So the kids had places to go. Maybe they were going to Google Earth, or they were reading a book about geography. One of my favorite tools, if you have never seen it before, is Hopper the Explorer. And there's a link actually in this slide that we're going to share with you, the slides at the end, and you'll be able to get to this choice board and use it. But Hopper the Explorer is so fun because it is tied to Google Earth, and you can actually make the little penguin go to different places around the world using Google Earth. So if you've never seen that, you have to check that one out. And then also just talking about like important people from history. It's a great way to tie in important people. Like we just had Martin Luther King Day that we celebrated a few months ago. And there is a beautiful poster. There's also even virtual ones that you can do. And so in this choice board, they might have learned in PebbleGo and PebbleGo Next, read some books, watched some videos, but then in the middle, they could even collaborate on the virtual sticker board. And then one more that I love the things that they have from the National Park Services that tie into national park like monuments. And this is one that they can actually go up in the Statue of Liberty. And so you could put this poster up in your library or your classrooms, and then just have a QR code next to it that they can scan, or even a bit.ly, and then they could go and even take a virtual tour of these places as well. And so it's just really fun to kind of think about how we can use not only the real sticker poster kits, but also the virtual boards too. And there is a category that is in the virtual sticker boards, just in the gallery, of portraits that you can find of famous people, of landmarks and travel. And so a great way to tie in some of those things too to your social studies. Now, one thing that I love that started last month is there is a virtual sticker board calendar that comes out each month. The great thing about this is the pictures, they actually tie to special events that go on throughout the month. And so you can look at this, you can give it like to your teachers, put it up in your classroom, in your library. So not only you can see it, but the kids can even be inspired to want to find out about some of these special events too. And then there is a gallery that is in the virtual sticker boards that you can find all of the things in for that month. And so it's always on the gallery poster with that bit.ly. And you can find that too. And that is something that is totally free for all of us. So I think that is just amazing. So I'm just checking in. Is the chat still just question answer?
Yeah, so we're just using the question and answer, but a lot of people have questions and comments. So maybe at the end or right now we could, if anyone wants to talk and answer this question, they could.
Yeah, that'd be great. And
if you want to talk, just tell me in the Q&A.
okay. And I think that it's so fun on webinars like this, you know, when you're thinking of different ideas or if you have something that you have done. But as we talk about science and math and social studies, if anybody has anything to share, you can save it to the end. And a lot of times too, like we'll even hear from people afterwards. If you don't want to share publicly, because that's scary sometimes, you can even share it in an email. And we would love to feature what you're doing too. So next we have music, and keep using that Q&A because we want to hear what you have to share too, or questions you have. But I love thinking about using music and even just listening when they are working together on sticker posters. We love having music on in our library and even in our classrooms. And as I was looking at the site the other day, I actually found this little just this little clip from and I should have thought about this before because Heather and Bree and I were collaborating last week and we said we should make up a jingle for Stick Together. And then we found this and they used The More We Get Together, which is an oldie but a goodie. And I love this because this was in the SEL guide that is actually on the Stick Together site. And so I pulled up this Cantata Learning, and this is just a book and a video. If you've never seen Cantata before, it is a great series because it is books that are paired then with music. And there's a QR code on the back. You can find all of the books and the music actually on YouTube. And so you could sing that and just change it to The More We Stick Together. I thought that was just so cute and fun. And Heather, actually, she also, I've never heard of this before, told me about Noodle and Pals, and she found one as well. And so just a fun way to think about using music, especially with our little ones as they are creating. And I think that they would love just singing that song too. So we have to do that, girls. We have to do that maybe for next time, right?
Well, for sure.
We'll come up with one together. Now we have library, and Heather and I, being librarians, we think about how we use Stick Together and other tools in our library, if it is for special events, if it's just having it up and our kids are collaborating, maybe it's using it in a center. And there are so many ways to use Stick Together in the library as a way to build community. I love it because our kids can work on it. I love it too because we can even invite like teachers and even families to work on it together. And as you have seen from some of the things that we've shared, you can find posters if their kits are virtual or even pixel art ideas to use for almost any topic or any time of year. We also, it's School Library Month, and so there are a lot of different options too for tying into reading and books. And these are used not only in our library, but especially in our classrooms with our teachers too, as they're working on things. But one thing that I love that Stick Together came out with last year are the Eric Carle posters. And I put together some choice boards that our kids and our teachers have been using. And this one on the left is actually Brown Bear, Brown Bear. And these are our kindergartners. And so we put up this sticker, or just this choice board that then they could go and they could learn more about bears. They could make their own pixel art. And then this one up here, they can even take part in a sticker, like a virtual sticker board. And so just a really fun way to tie those Eric Carle posters then into the real sticker posters. And also the Very Hungry Caterpillar, one of my favorites. And the butterfly one is one that is probably my favorite out of this series. And our second graders have been working on this. It's almost done and it is absolutely beautiful. They all are. And so you can check those out too, but also find the 2 Eric Carle choice boards. These are free for everyone to use and you can find them in that post. We also have summer reading coming up and we have started to introduce this at Van Meter. And so this is the poster that we have right now in our Stick Together corner. And so the kids have been having a lot of fun with that too. Now we have art, and I love thinking about, anything we do with Stick Together is really art related. If they are creating on pixel art, if they're doing it together and collaborating on a sticker poster, and if they're working together on a virtual one. But I love this idea from Heather on how she used it for the dot.
Yeah, so we do the dot every year. We use Read It, of course, and celebrate Dot Day. And so I was super excited when this one came out before school started. So we've been working on it actually throughout the school year. And it's just awesome because, like Shannon said, it doesn't really matter how old the kids are. Everybody can work on it together. And so you could tie in the book and the artwork. And the book is all about like just finding your place in the world and making your mark, and the kids just have fun and working on it together. So this has been a really fun one for us.
Love that one. It's so cute. And I thought too, like, as we were thinking and kind of planning this, that, with Dot Day and like all the fun activities that we do, and I'm sure that a lot of you do too for Dot Day celebrations, is pointillism is one of the things that really sticks out in my mind when I think about Stick Together and the pixels and how we use them. And one of my favorite ways to use pointillism with kids, especially our younger ones, is just using paint and Q-tips and making a picture. So they could make like a pixel art, or maybe they could copy like the Dot Day poster that Heather did with her kids. And they could even create their own just using that little pointillism activity. It's a really, really fun and easy one too. And ELA, when we talk about like, especially using, that creative storytelling, the one that Heather already did where she showed us with the animals, I can think of all kinds of ways we can use it in ELA.
So the first slide for ELA talks about April being Poetry Month. And I had this sticker kit, and this actually it's from the poetry series. And so it has a poem on it. And so what I did, and I got this idea from Shannon as well, so we have 2 kindergarten classes, and I knew I wanted to use this poster. So we read some poetry and talked about spring. Of course, I have not told them what the final picture will be, but I cut the poster apart and into probably like maybe eight or 9 pieces. And then each class is working on it separately, but we're working on the same poster. So it's really fun to see them get so excited about working together and filling in the stickers. And for kindergartners too, it's just great for like fine motor skills, for hand-eye coordination, finding the letters. And so they're just working in groups of 2 or 3 on a piece and putting the stickers on. And then eventually, as we get it finished, we'll put it all together. So it's just a great collaborative project that we can do together, even though they're not in the same class. So they're really excited to see what it's going to be. So this is one group that's working. And and then the next slide is the other class. And so we are still working and talking about poetry, and still working to see what it's going to turn out to be. So they're having a ton of fun with this project.
I love that. I think that's a good way to do it, right? It's not so overwhelming, and they can collaborate together too, which is great. And one project that we have done this year, in the beginning of the year, we used this book, and Heather and I love like finding books that we can tie into like maker and STEM activities. I think that's one of the best parts of being a librarian and working with our littles and our elementary kids in the library in the classrooms. And Only One You is one that I did with my friend Tracy in her second grade classroom. And in this book, if you've never seen it, the illustrations are actually like painted rocks. And we thought it would be so fun to have them use the pixel art site to then make like themselves, like how they would portray themselves, like as one of those fish in the book. And so our kids, again, did their pixel art. We generated a PDF and downloaded it and then added it to this Padlet. And I always have them, when they are doing this, I have them add the colored one, and I have them add then the one that just has the letters. And so one is like SOL is the file and one is letters. Have them add both of them just so you have them, because they can't get back to it again. You don't sign in. And so it's nice because then if anything happens, you'll have those two files. It's also really easy to use because as you do that pixel art and they download it onto their whatever device they have, it's a Chromebook or some kind of laptop, it automatically puts their name on the bottom. And so you don't have to worry about getting them mixed up as you print them off. You have the name on the bottom because they will put their name on that when they start their pixel art project. And so as they sticker these, it was so neat to have Tracy put these up on her writing wall. But what they did after that was such a great tie-in, because they wrote stories then about their fish and tied it into what was unique about them. The book being Only One You, it was neat because the kids got to write about themselves and about their fish. And then Tracy put those writings that they did and the fish then together. And since they had the file that was colored on the Padlet, they were able to use that then fish in the Google Doc that they wrote their story in. So that was really easy. And Heather, I'll let you talk about this cute one.
Okay, so I was wanting to do something with fractured fairy tales all year. And so Shannon and I were just kind of thinking about how we could do it. And so I thought it would be fun to have them create characters. So maybe even work in groups of 3 or 4 to come up with their own fractured fairy tale. And then they could all make their different characters and then use them with their story. So again, this is the animated drawings website that's free. And just the pixel, I use the pixel art. I actually created this. I used the pixel art on my computer and then used Canva to upload the video, took the background out. And then as you can see in the video, when you use animated drawings, there's several different, like a ton of different things that you can make them do. You can make them walk, you can make them dance. So I can't wait. I think I'm going to do this with older students, but I'm super excited about this. And then again, just tying it in with, there's so many books that are fractured fairy tales. So I love just there's so many possibilities. So I'm excited about that one.
That is really cute too. I mean, that's like, I have watched that all day. It's just so cute. It makes me laugh. So I love that. I'm excited about that. And then the last one that we wanted to share was SEL. And as you can see from the guide, there are lots of ways, when we think about using it with kids, just a way to relax, a way to be mindful, a way to collaborate. You can use it, if you were a guidance counselor, or even, I think, Heather, you talked about even your principal using it with a student. And so lots of ways to be able to use that. But then there are different posters and virtual sticker boards that also go along with it. There's a resilience series that highlights SEL topics. And I love the one that is the hot air balloon. There's even a worksheet that is from education.com that we mentioned in the guide that you could use with that too. So lots of ways to think about using it with SEL. And I love this, these pictures, because it does kind of show that it could be something that kids are working on together. It could be like one student so excited about, being part of the puzzle. And the picture, when I saw this little boy with his coat on, he's one of our TK kids, so one of our youngest learners. And I saw him after school one day, all bundled up, just waiting and working just really quietly by himself on that sticker poster. And so I think that pictures like this and opportunities for kids just really says it all when we think about everything that we can do with Stick Together. So one thing that we would love to know is just, listening to all these ideas, how you're going to use Stick Together. I'm sure that you have now some ideas in your head and ways that you want to use it. And so we would love to know how you are going to use it too. So we have a really special new global Stick Together project too that we would love to share. And this might give you an idea also. We hope that everyone participates. We're very excited because we announced it, I think, on Saturday, and we already have probably over 25 people who have signed up and who have been creating with their kids. This is really great because it is something that everyone can participate in. It is free to use the pixel art site. And so this is one that if you are using it digitally, it's free for everyone to collaborate. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a global pixel art portrait mural. And you and your students, they can join others from around the world as we all create a giant pixel art mural of these amazing portraits. And one thing that was so fun this year as we worked with our first graders in the project that I talked about using that grid, we realized how unique and amazing, every single one of our students, what they were making in that pixel art site. And when you look at some of these, I especially love the little girl on the giraffe. It's one of my favorites. But when you look at these, not only how they made themselves, but even the backgrounds and how they made the little details, it's pretty amazing to think that these are our young learners. And so your kids can also create there, and doesn't have to be on an actual poster. It can just be using that virtual pixel art site. And we're going to bring it together just like we did at Van Meter into a giant mural when we're all finished. And so if you go to just this bit.ly, you can go to the global mural project and you can sign up and you can get started just by reading the really simple directions. There's a post in there too that will talk a little bit more about the details of the project. And then as you can see on the right-hand side, just put your name in it, kind of your details of where you're from, a little bit about your class or how you're going to be using it within your school, and then how you're going to share. And if you want to do it with actual posters and the stickers, I'll show you how to get those too in a minute. But if you want to, I think it's really fun to try things out when I'm in PD or in a webinar. If you have never been to the pixel art site before, you can try it out now just by going to this bit.ly, and you can give it a try as we're going over some things at the end of our webinar. And it's fun because, like I said, you can create so many things with even just the colors that they have. It's easy for kids to fix mistakes. It's easy for them to use it, on so many different things. But when they're creating their portrait, one thing that we want them to do when you get in there is make sure that they stay the vertical way. So make sure they stay vertical so we can put it all together and they all look the same. And so we have Padlets that we use at Van Meter. As I shared today, we use Padlets, but one thing that we're going to do is just have everybody either put it on a Padlet or share it with me. It could even be like in a Google folder or something. One thing that I did that I thought would be helpful is I have this set up just in a station at our school. You can use this too. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just use this poster if you're going to use Padlet. And you can just link then, just make a copy and you can link to your Padlet as well. So it's really easy for the kids then to get to that or make a little bit.ly. But this is the Padlet that we have that people have been sharing. And this is a picture actually from maybe like 2 days ago. And today I looked and there are several others now that have added to it as well. But if you go here, you just would create like a column, create your own column for your kids. And some people, what they're doing is they're actually creating another Padlet and then just adding it to this Padlet too. If you need help or have questions on this, I'm going to share my email and I'm happy to walk you through what that would look like. But this is an example, is this librarian, Sarah, who is in Wisconsin. She just made her own Padlet and then she added it to that big Padlet that we had. Probably one of the most special ones that we have had is we have a librarian from the Ukraine who has been adding. And this is the little boy who created his self-portrait. And I love this one that someone put on here today, and it said that it was her and her brother. And so I think it's really neat to see, you know, not only how we can collaborate with others across the United States, but how this is something that's going to be a global project. And we're really excited because we've had an opportunity actually to have this be something that is displayed in a new project at ISTE this summer at the ISTE conference in Philadelphia. And so this will be a project that will be displayed in a new area at ISTE. And if you want to participate, you can either make them just the digital and you can upload them into either that Padlet, or you can also just email them to me. If you make them where you're actually using stickers, I put my address in here and you can mail them to me by like May 30th or so. And I will make sure then that I get them to ISTE. And I wanted to put a link in here where you can order the pixel art class packs. This is something too that we use this with our second graders, and we have 4 sections of our second grade. And we probably use for our projects, we probably had like, maybe we used a half or a little bit more. So you could easily do this with, I would say probably almost like 8 classes of kids. We have probably about 100. So you could probably use it for probably like 150, I think, pictures, maybe even more, because we have a lot of stickers left. And so it's really neat to be able to order those class packs, and you can find a link there too. So Bree, do we have any questions that we should talk about?
Yeah, we've quite a few. The first one is, where do students access the choice boards? And they asked if you're putting them in their Google Classroom.
Yeah, so I put them into their Google Classroom, and I have a Google Classroom too for our library. And so a lot of times, like each month, I share kind of the choice boards that we have, but we have a special section just in our Google Classroom, even for the StickTogether choice board. So our little ones are accessing them through a QR code. So they just scan a QR code with their device and they would use it. Or if I have like a poster up in the library or their classrooms, we'll have a QR code by it. But I always make sure that I put a bit.ly too. So if they don't have an iPad and they just have a device that maybe they can't use the camera to scan that QR code, they could type that in too. But most Chromebooks now, the camera lets you also scan with that too. So it's really easy to share it that way.
And the next one is there a way you can share the step-by-step instructions on your pixel art Padlet projects?
Yes, the global one, or the ones that Heather and I did. Yes. Yeah, that would be, we can absolutely make sure. Maybe we can write that up, Heather, and after you do that, we can get it even onto the blog, into our ideas that we feature.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this one is for Heather. What all did you use for Goldilocks, and why did you use Canva?
So for the Goldilocks, I just went on the Pixel website, which is free, and I created her using that. And then I took a screenshot of it, on my computer. And then I just opened up the animated drawings, and then you just upload it. And really you kind of have to play with it a little bit to figure it out. It gives you directions on the left side. You can see your drawing on the right, and then it gives you directions on the left. And like I said, your drawing has to have arms and legs. So it shows you where you have to drag the different points to the joint. So it sounds kind of confusing, but it's easy to use once you get the hang of it. So then once I got her animated, I use Canva, and I use Canva. Well, for one thing, it's free for educators, and I've used it quite a bit, so it's really user friendly. And then Shannon also, I wasn't sure, I've removed backgrounds from pictures before, but I've never removed backgrounds from videos. So that was one reason why I chose Canva, because once I uploaded, so when I was on animated drawings, you download the video, then you can upload it in Canva. And then I took the background out, and then just placed it into the video. It's just one big video in Canva. And then like mine was very simple, but like Shannon mentioned, kids could add the back. So if it was Goldilocks, they could add what is their setting. Like we could talk about the setting of the story. And so they would add their background depending on what their fractured fairy tale was about.
Okay, there are actually lots of questions, so I'm glad that you answered that. People were excited about that. How long does it take to create a self-portrait?
Oh my gosh, not very long at all. Like it takes them probably about, I mean, honestly, like 5-10 minutes. And so they created in the pixel art. You want to make sure that like I always, if I'm just doing it with the kids for the first time, do one together with them, because they have to put their name in. They create it and then they download it. If they click on, I can't remember what it is, like restart or something, or clear, it will clear the whole thing and they can't get it back again. And so I always make sure I go through that with them. Then once we have them on the Padlet, what I usually do is if I start it with a class, like in the morning, I will have them create, and then maybe they have like PE or something lunchtime, and I go to the office, print them off quick, bring them down, and it takes them between, I would say like 30 to 45 minutes probably to sticker it, sometimes a little bit less, but they're pretty proud of what they create. And so even we've used this now even with our kindergartners, all the way up to like our oldest elementary, and then our middle and high school, they are actually going to do it in their art classes, the pixel art project. And so I'm kind of excited to see that too, and how long that takes them.
Sonia is raising her hand, so let's allow her to talk.
You have a question, Sonia?
Maybe I'll ask the next one while we wait for her.
Yeah.
Paula asked if the Global Project was similar to the traveling mural we used pre-COVID. We used to do pre-COVID.
Traveling mural, and that's still going on. We had like almost 300 schools again participate in that this year, but it reminds me of that so much. And the thing that I really love about this one is that because we're going to do it virtual and with the physical ones, and we'll make sure, like, even if they're physical ones, we'll make sure that we scan those and get them into like a big virtual one that we can share. But I think the most exciting thing is that it's all going to come together then and be featured and be part of that showcase at ISTE. And we'll make sure that we, share like even the virtual mural. And then one thing that we're going to do too at the end is we're going to have some kind of Zoom and, special event for the schools that participated. The librarian that is in the Ukraine, actually, we've been talking and she would love to have her kids connect to others that are in the United States and other places in the world. And so as Heather and Bree and I were talking this weekend, we thought that would be such a neat thing too. And so just like the other mural project, I know that a lot of friendships have been made and teachers have collaborated. And so we would love to see that happen with this one too.
I was even going to say, Shannon, that thinking about putting all them together, like from all over, like the United States and the world. But in my mind, I was also thinking of just making an extra copy to make one for just our school too, which I think would be really fun, a fun way to end the year.
Love that. I think that's so cool. And we'll make sure to, at the ISTE, to highlight even like photos, like we were talking about this week, that it would be neat to even have pictures of, all the classes that participated in schools and having that be part of the mural too, not just like the sticker posters, but actually having our, schools and some way our community, how they are highlighted too. We're really excited about this project. We love the mural, the traveling mural project. That was Heather and I's, it was first just going to be between our two schools, and it's turned into such a special thing every year. And so this one, we'll have to do something like this now every year too. So really excited about that.
And then Tammy asked, how can students share their pixel art pictures when they make it on an iPad?
So that is something that we were actually just talking about with our kindergarten today, because that's how our kindergartners will be making them. So that's a really good question right now. One way that we've done it before when our kids make something is you could have them take like a screenshot of it. I think would be the easiest way, and either drop it to a device or also just, if like I have a set of iPads for the library, like I have 10 of them. So if my kindergartners were creating them, then I'm just logged into to my email on all of them. I could send them to me, but I don't know if anybody else has any ideas, but I think the best thing would be.
I was going to say, Shannon, I actually did do a screenshot when they created them. They used iPads. So I just did a screenshot, and then I was able to, since the iPads are assigned to me, I was able to airdrop them to my computer and then just print them from there.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest way, because the other thing you could do too, so I just thought about this, my friends in Long Island, when we made that slide that showed here, let me just go back to it really fast. This slide right here, so this was actually from a center that I helped them make, and there was a QR code like in the middle of this, and the QR code went to the Padlet. So one thing you could do too is, if kids created it, take a screenshot like Heather did, and then they always could upload that then to the Padlet too. I think that would work as well.
Okay. Sandra said, so many great ideas. Sounds like we need an animated pixel art Canva webinar next. Oh, and then Janice raising her hand. She had some questions for Shannon.
Yeah, a Canva one would be really good. Hi, Jan.
Okay. So my brain's exploding, but anyway, can the kids create all of this online, or do I have to have the sticker kits?
Yeah, they can create it online. So they can create, yep, they can create them online. Isn't that?
Well,
yes.
yeah. Okay. Well, this is, I mean, so great. what we're doing is how flowers got their names and its mythology. So I want them to create the flower in the pixel art. So they can do that totally online. And then you use, yeah, okay. And then I'm thinking, and then we'll screenshot it, put it in Padlet. So I'll have all the pictures and then I'll have them write about it. Okay.
Yes. And
This sounds fabulous.
if you have any questions, just reach out, and they print so nicely. Like, you know,
Okay.
when you print them off, like we just printed those, the ones that were actually that they use like in their stories. So they took a little screenshot, and this is also really good practice for kids when it just comes to like digital literacy, because they typed up their report in just a Google Doc, and then they took a screenshot of the one that they saved, and then they put it in there, and then the teachers printed them off together. Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, that's fabulous. Okay. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I was also going to say, Shannon, that I like eventually the kids will take their original sticker work home, but I actually have made color copies of them too, just so that I can keep a copy to make like a class book that we can always have. And they color copy very nicely as well.
That's a really good idea. That is, you know, one of the teachers today, when we were talking about, even, I was going to see if I have some here at home, one of the pixel art things was even making them, you know, like a little bit smaller, because they were wondering, they were putting together something that was around their animal research. And so I think that's such a good idea to make a copy of them too. It's cool.
The next question is from Kim. She says, in the pixel art, I'm always nervous about kids entering their names and saving it. Where does this private info go?
I don't know the answer to that question. Sylvia is online, so maybe I can watch for a text from her. I don't think that it's saved anywhere, because you're not saving it. And one thing that I told my kids, and this is something too, that and this is in the pixel art description, when you have kids add your name, and I tell kids this every single day, like, don't add your last name or add your initials even. But I think it's important to just always remind kids of that. And in this pixel art project, like, just have the kids put their, you know, you can have them put just their first name or their initials. And Sylvia says it is not saved anywhere. It's only on that PDF, which will get put on the Padlet. We don't save anything on our platform. And so, you know, and if you're really worried about that, just put like Mrs. Miller's kids or something, you know, for this project. Don't feel like you have to put their name.
Okay. Lindsay asks, will the pixel art work on any internet capable device? I only work with KG on a regular basis, but I have Kindle Fires that they can use. Will it work on those?
Let's see what Sylvia says. She's going to text me that too. I'm not sure about that. That's a great question.
Yeah, here's the next one. Do you have a tutorial on your blog on how you have them download them when done with the pixel art and upload to Padlet? She hasn't used Padlet.
Yes, and we can find, if you email me, maybe Brianna can put my email in the chat. I will send you that. And I have done a few blog posts now. Also in the slides that you're going to get with the recording, all the slides are linked to the blog post about the projects. And so you'll be able to get to those to see exactly how to do that too. And once you do it, it was kind of confusing for me too, to figure out all those steps in the beginning. But once you do it, like once, you'll have no problem doing it too. But it's really nice too, because when we first started using it, and Sylvia had shared it with me, and Sylvia is actually the amazing creator of StickTogether. And when she first created this site and shared it, when we did it, their name wasn't on the bottom. And so I told her, I'm like, oh, it'd be so great if the name was on the bottom of the poster, because now when you have all those on a Padlet and you print them, you don't have to worry about you know, whose posters is who, the name is right on the bottom then from that PDF that you share.
And it will work on, and it's web-based, so it should work on any device that can access the internet. Oh, Lindsay had a cool idea. She said, I plan on doing a battle of the books next year. I could have my book battle teams create pixel art for their teams, and they can display them when they battle.
Love it. Okay, I just thought of an idea, Lindsay. You could even make that into like a decal to put on like a shirt or something.
Love that.
I love that idea.
This is like us collaborating. Heather and Bree and I get together and we just like, we could talk forever about ideas. So we love all these ideas.
For
Yeah,
sure.
Emily says she loves how open-ended for creativity as well as connecting to various subject matters as well.
And I think that's what the cool thing is once you start using it, then you just keep thinking of more and more ways. So that's what's been really fun for me.
I know.
Things that I didn't think about, and then it just spirals. And
I love it.
Oh, this is for the iPad. Sarah says that she, the easiest way is to screenshot and then airdrop it. And she said we are still planning to download so we can save to the photos as well.
Great idea.
Yeah, Sandra says she loves the class book ideas. We got some thank yous, but that's all the questions. Does anyone else have any questions or have anything? Do they want to talk?
This was so much fun. I have so many ideas now too. Like I've been jotting things down on my little piece of paper just from talking. I love it. Well, thank you for all those questions, and thanks, Bree, for organizing all of that, and Heather for sharing all your amazing ideas. I love it. And we have some just resources that we'd like to share as we close out. Of course, we wanted to share how to get to the StickTogether site, and this is so great because it is packed full of lots of great information on how to use them. You'll be able to find also the curriculum connections that we have here that we talked about today. And these are so neat because they're also really fun to be able to share them with your teachers. And whatever you are, if you're a librarian, a teacher, if you work with your kids as a guidance counselor, you'll be able to find a way to use these too. Don't forget that each month there will be a calendar that you can use. This is the April one, and I'm sure that Bree is busy working on the May one too and has lots of great things. But remember, those can be found in the special April gallery, so you can find all of those too. I love these posters that Bree created last month, and these are just so neat because they're a great way, wherever you're using it within your school or your library or even like your public library space, you can use these posters. And one thing that I put up just by our summer reading was our Stick Together corner. And so I downloaded them, printed them off, laminated them, and even set them out in the office for teachers to grab to use with theirs as well. So it's a really kind of fun way to be able to use those. We're also so excited that on May 2nd, we have our upcoming webinar, and we're going to be sharing just fun and meaningful ways to use Stick Together for reading, learning, and fun this summer. So we're really anxious to share with all of you there too. So remember that we have our newest sticker poster kit. I'm so excited about this. We saw a librarian the other day posted a picture of her kids doing it already within their library. So that was so fun. And as Bree shared earlier, there are 3 chances to win this right now by entering the Share Your Stick Together story. And so please remember to enter that and you'll have a chance to win this special sticker poster. You can follow us on YouTube at By Stick Together, and this is where we will be placing all of our webinars and some tutorials and other things too that are important to stick together. And oh, here's the webinar gallery. Bree, you probably want to talk about this.
Yeah, so this is a special gallery for everyone who registered for a webinar and attended. So you'll have to go check out these special images, and we'll be doing this every webinar. So something to look forward to.
You know, I love these. And because it is School Library Month, there are a lot of them in here are featuring reading, I bet. And
Love
we
it.
can celebrate reading all year long. And the one that we did together in the beginning too. Bree, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so we have a feedback form that we would love you guys to fill out, just telling us how we did and if you have any suggestions or if you had any questions that we didn't answer. And when you fill that out, you will get the certificate of participation too. Go to the next. And then for one lucky attendee who completes the feedback survey by tonight, they will win a sticker poster kit. We will just choose that at random.
That is a good deal.
Love it.
I know. Everybody better fill that out. That's a good thing. But thank you so much for joining us. This was so much fun, not only to be with Brianna and with Heather and Sylvia, but with all of you. And we're just grateful that you came and for all of your great questions as well. So stay in touch. You'll find us all here on our handle and feel free to reach out anytime. So we hope you have a great month and we will see you in May for our next webinar.
Do you want to announce the winner for the virtual sticker board?
Yes, let's see.
And also just to make sure that you guys know, the Library Voice sticker poster kit is in the shop now.
Awesome. So the winner is Kristen Marcu, Kristen. Kristen, are you still here? Maybe write in the answer. Yeah, she raised her hand. Woo!
Oh, should we let her chat?
Yes. Congrats, Kristen.
Fun.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm so excited.
You'll have to post a picture and show us your kids like
Oh,
doing-
absolutely. Thank you so much.
Congrats. Thank you for coming.
All right, awesome.
Thank you. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you so much. And we will see you in May, if not before.